Stephanie Bain, I have a books. I'm a book nerd. There's so many books. Hello everyone, Stephanie here. Today's video is going to be the 25 bookish facts about me. So, some of these things you may know, some of the things you may not know, and these are just some random things that I thought of that I was like, hey, why not? So let's get started. And yes, I have to look at my notes because I'll forget like what I'm trying to talk about. So let's see. Number one is I've always read, but I got into reading when I was really young because even though I read a lot for pleasure, like when it would come to reading for school or reading out of a textbook or something, I would not retain information, like for shit. I would read a chapter and then the teacher could ask me a question and I'd be like, hold on, wait, I gotta reread that. I wasn't paying attention to what I was saying, kind of thing. So I would, my teacher suggested Hooked on Phonics, that like, you know, it would just help me retain information. And Hooked on Phonics is what got me like legit super into reading. And then you guys already know after that Twilight just kind of pushed even more. But I mean, I did Hooked on Phonics because I was in like first grade. Yeah, I want to say I was in like first grade. Like reading for pleasure, good. Reading for school, not good. The next thing is I'm a big rereader and I don't do it as often as I used to because of my 100 plus TBR. It's quite sad, I know. But like when I was a little bit younger, not even that much longer, not that much longer ago, but a while ago, I would literally like if I loved a book, so like really loved a book, I would immediately reread it right after. Number 3 is I cannot stop in the middle of a chapter. Like I can stop really quickly if I have to use the restroom or I have to go to the store really quickly with my mom or something, or I gotta help. But by the time I go to sleep that night, I cannot be in the middle of a chapter, not even where the chapter breaks apart. I know there's a specific word for that, but I don't feel like Googling it. But you know, there's chapter breaks and then like it's okay. I could stop there for a little, but I have to go to bed having finished at like the end of a chapter. If not, I swear I'm not going to remember what happened in that chapter. It's just the full chapter just didn't go through my mind. Number 4 is I only read at night. There are very few instances, and like not yesterday, on Monday, whatchamacallit, I had to finish a book that I was supposed to read, yada yada yada. I actually read during the day just because I needed to finish it. Like I needed to finish it. But the problem is when I read during the day, I have to stop because I'm like reading and then I get distracted. My sister ended up taking me to Target because she wanted to walk around. And the struggle's real when I read during the day because I have so many people bothering the fuck out of me. So I only read at night for the most part. It'll be like, it's usually not until 11 or 12 that I actually start reading. And then I read for a couple of hours. I mean, I love those nights that I can start reading at like 9 or 10 because I'm like, yes, I'm going to get so much reading done. But usually I only get a couple of hours of reading done a night. Fridays I don't read because my nephew sleeps over and he's a child who drives me crazy. And yeah, I literally only read at night. So all of the reading I do at night. And not all the time because I'm also slightly lazy and I don't read every single day. Number 5 is I prefer paperbacks over hardbacks. Like, doesn't matter. I prefer the feel of paperbacks. I prefer their price also. And I also just prefer just holding them. Paperbacks are amazing. I love paperbacks. And number 6 though, there's still going to be instances though where I like buying box sets of hardcovers, like my Twilight, bought a box set, Divergent, bought a box set. I'm going to buy the box set if matched and I want them hardcover, not paperback, which is weird. I know, it's really weird because I like legit absolutely love paperbacks, yet there's going to be times where I want a hardcover set. Number 7 is I purposely wait sometimes, depending on the series, for the series to be completely over or almost over to start reading them. Like The Raven Cycle by Maggie Stiefvater. I've been interested in that since I first found out about the first book, but it was one of those things where I felt like I needed to wait for the whole thing to be out, and I can't wait for the box set to be out so I could buy the box set and then just marathon the series because that's how I roll. Number 8 is I love villains. I don't care if they're redeemable or not. I love a very good villain. and I tend to love them more than I should, but I can't help it. Number 9 is, it's been a really, if I haven't read for a really, really, really long time, like I'm talking if it's been a year or two since I've actually sat down and read a book, because sometimes, not always, I actually need to read aloud before I can get back, like, because the thing is I get distracted very easily while I'm reading, whether it's my phone or it's TV or something. Like, I'm just distracted all the time, so I can read out loud and then hear myself and then visualize what I need to, and then after a few chapters I'm good. But that's a thing I have to do sometimes, not all the time, but it's a thing. Next is when I'm out in public or reading, you know, like when I'm at the airport or something, I have to listen to music. Unless it's extremely weirdly quiet, then I'm fine. But if not, I have to listen to music. And music, I mean one song, and I will search forever until I find the one perfect song. For example, this one right here, while I was in the airport and we were out in public and stuff, unless we were at the park, that one was actually really nice. But I listened to The Beat on repeat by the Bass Hunter. Love him. That's the second time I used that song for a book, because I used that song also for Night World series, and I don't know why, it just kind of popped into my head after I tried a few songs. I listened to it and it was perfect. And usually little to no words is better, but it needs to kind of like go with the feel of the book, and it was a perfect stinking song for it. Number 11, if I don't like what I'm reading, I will put it down. I don't give a fudge to go pop. Number 12 is I'm a mood reader. I pick up books depending on how I'm feeling, depending on my mood. So even though sometimes, for example, I'm craving nothing but fantasy or historical fiction, that's what I want to read, but deep down it's not what my mood is about. So that's why I'll pick up something else. Like I'll say, oh, this is what I think I want to read this month, but really I end up changing it because those books don't go with it. And if I don't go with what my mood is, how I'm feeling, and the vibes that I want, I will put myself in a book slump. And last year's book slump was absolutely horrible. Number 13 is paranormal is one of my absolute favorite genres, because ever since I was a kid, I've been obsessed with vampires and witches and werewolves. I watched way too many movies when I was young about that. I still watch a lot of movies about that, and it's just an obsession of mine. Like, it really is. I'm fascinated by the myths behind it, just everything. I love paranormal, especially good paranormal, and I think L.J. Smith does good. Just X-Nail on the Vampire Diaries. I was gonna say Academy. Number 14. I've noticed though, even though paranormal is one of my like all-time favorites and it's a go-to of mine, I'm seeing that dystopian, post-apocalyptic, sci-fi type things are also a huge plus in my book. Like, I have read a few, not a whole lot, but they're just so good. And I love when it's a utopian world, but really it's just, oh my god, like I just love all that shit. I love it. I eat that up and I'm just like, yes, because government sucks ass and that's just amazing. Number 15, I never go for contemporary. Like, of all the books that I have a few romance, like maybe like 5-6 romance. I have a few like mystery thrillers. I have quite a few paranormal. I have some dystopian, but like I have maybe a handful of contemporaries because it's just not a genre I care for. Even though I have a few books on my TBR that are contemporary or something, I just think it's kind of it's quite dull for me, and I just don't care for it. Number 16 is, but I really like a good romance. And by romance, anything Nicholas Sparks so far is like my go-to. Diana Gabaldon. But even that, those are the only romances I read. Number 17, I still haven't finished reading all of the Harry Potter books. I've reread the first one about 1,000,000 times. I love the first book. It's super good. Second book's good. Third book's good. Fourth book, I never get it past halfway. I really don't know why. Don't ask me why. But and you know what the weird thing is? Other than the first book, I don't remember what fucking happens in book 2, 3, or half of 4. Number 18 is I tend to enjoy almost everything I read. I am not Other than last year, I had a lot of like books I didn't really care for, but for the most part, I enjoy everything I read because I'm one of those people that I guess you can say goes with their bookish gut feeling. And by that, I just mean I look at something and if I feel like I'm going to like it, I'm going to get it. Sometimes I'm wrong and I don't end up liking what I pick up. But when you listen to what you really want and you're not just buying to buy, I think you tend to like more what you are buying. That's pretty much. I've reread the first book to Twilight a million times. It's my go-to get out of a fucking book slump book to read. But I have never reread the rest of the series. I think I've only reread New Moon like once after the initial time. But Eclipse and Breaking Dawn, I've only read them once. Twilight, I've read about a million times. Number 20 is I tend to be turned off by a book/book series when too many people talk about it, and I'll wait until the buzz dies before I dive into it. And the same thing happened with Twilight. Everyone talked about the movie, the books. I was like, oh my gosh, the fuck up, so annoying. Ended up loving it. The same thing also happened with The Fifth Wave. I bought it because everyone was talking about it. And I waited, but then I realized that when I started reading it and then people were still talking about it, I was like, no, I'm gonna wait. And then after I waited, I enjoyed the crap out of it. But for some reason, the more people talk about it or hype it up, the less I'm interested in it. And sometimes the less I like a book because of it. Numero 21 is I love multiple copies to my favorite books. And usually I buy them because I find them really inexpensive. Like all of my Twilight copies, I've spent very little. Honestly, on all of the multiple copies I have in general, I've maybe spent only like $15 in total. Not even. And I have quite a few like multiple copies. I have the special collector's edition. And then I have like, okay, don't count that one because that I bought almost full price, which is the 10th anniversary. But my multiple copies, yeah, I don't spend a whole lot on them. Even like the Mortal Instruments, I really enjoy the series, and I found the first 4 in hardcover at Walmart, $6 each. I was like, I'm not leaving these. I'm just really pissed off I didn't get the last 2 or Infernal. But whatever, if I find them, I find them, and I just don't want to spend an arm and a leg on them. But I love multiple copies to my favorite books, especially when they're different versions and I want to collect them. Like, I still want to get the white set for Twilight. Like, I really want them. I think they're beautiful. Number 22 is I love books with multiple perspectives. I think when they're done extremely well, even when they're done not so well, I still really enjoy it. I like getting to look into another character's mind and seeing it. One reason why I'm really excited about reading Fallen Kingdoms is its multiple point of views. I really did enjoy The 100. Like, even though I wish there was more to that series, I still like that there was 4 different perspectives you're reading from, and it's just nice to get it from different areas and stuff. I love it. I love it. I love it. So good. Number 23 is I dislike books when they have too much romance in them. Like, it's not that I'm going to hate them or anything, but for a perfect example, and I'm sorry I use this as an example all the time. I think it's a good one to like get across what I'm trying to get across, and that's all of Cassandra Clare's books. They are amazing urban fantasy, like the stories, the whole paranormal aspects to it, the whole other world aspects to it, and the shadow hunters and the demons, but they are completely overrun by the romance in the stories, and I do not appreciate that because I think it takes away. I don't care if you guys are having issues. I want to know if you're going to survive or not. I want to know what the fuck's going to happen, okay? And I can't stand it because then that's an urban fantasy romance. It's not urban fantasy. Number 24 is I do not care if my covers do not match. If I have different covers, I don't care. If my series half paperback, half hardcover, I don't care because that's how a lot of the series on my shelves are. Like my Vampire Diaries, half hardcover, half paperback. I did that on purpose. My Sweep series, I have like the mass market paperbacks and then the big paperbacks, and it's like half and half. So I'm weird, but I do not care if they match or not. I care about what's inside the books, guys. And number 25 is I love mass paperbacks, and I do not care if the spines get broken. I don't care about any of that shit. That's why I have a lot of mass paperbacks there. I have mass paperbacks over there that I've read. It's just something about mass paperbacks. Not only are they really comfortable, you can put them in your purse. They take up no space. it's not that much bigger than my phone. I can't complain. Like, literally, the size of it's not that much bigger. And not just that, but like, it just fits in easier. And there's something about mass paperbacks that reminds me of my childhood. And you guys know how I feel about my childhood. Like, I love those 90s feels. Any way I can get them. But those are the 25 bookish facts about me. What are some things about you that we might not know here on the Booktubosphere? Comment them down below. You know, let me know if there's something weird that I do, or if there's something that you do too, or you feel the same way, yada yada yada. Comment them down below, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Goodbye.